Yeah, yeah. Fresh out the cell with a plan and a boo. Ain't clip beeping, but my heart's beating for you. Let's go. Met her on a prison pen pal site. She said you cute even in that orange light. Now I'm home and I'm free, kinda on probation. She picked me up in a Prius, pure elation. Got a teardrop tat and a heart full of dreams. She brought cupcakes and some government cheese. I said, girl, you a snack, maybe even a feast. She said, you just hungry cause you live with the beast. Love after lockup, wild and free. Got no keys, but she got the key to me. From yard time to FaceTime, look at us glow. From prison phone calls to reality show. Love after lockup, we don't play. Tinder got nothing on JPay. I did my time, now I'm doing hers. Doing laundry and love, both in spurts.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Love After Lockup, Lockdown, where we are covering Season 2, Episode 6. As always, you can find us in our Facebook group at Love After Lockup, Locked Down, or on Instagram at LALU Lockdown. I'm Jennifer.
I'm Lisa.
How are you today, Lisa?
I'm doing, I guess, okay. I'm having a stressful week, but yeah, I'm doing all right. I found some new features on Spotify that we were talking about, which kind of made it exciting that I was trying out. Some of my posts on the pages might be a little bit weird because I was testing stuff. But yeah, we did notice that we had a lot more following in the very recent week, and we thank you for that. And we would love for everyone to go and rate us on either Spotify or Apple or wherever you want to rate us. I think you can also rate us on our Facebook page, and only 5 stars. That's all we'll accept. 5 stars only. If you don't give us 5 stars, then just go away. No.
Just keep listening.
Keep it to yourself.
Eventually we'll earn your 5 stars.
Yeah. If you're at 3 or 4, just wait till you're at a 5 and then rate.
So this week we're talking about Season 2, Episode 6, Your Card Has Been Declined. And we start off with Clint and Tracie. And she's in her underwear and they're doing shots of tequila. So we start this episode off strong. This seems like an excellent decision and I fully support it.
Yeah, but you know what? I had to give it to Tracie for the just straight shot with just the lime because that's my go-to, of course. But I don't typically do it in purple lingerie with my butt hanging out.
Hey, he didn't seem to be upset about it.
No, but tequila doesn't get me there. It's not enough for that.
Tequila makes my clothes fall off, or what is that?
I don't know. I was just going to fill in the blanks by saying tequila makes me horny, but that's also not true.
He said they had amazing sex, and she's everything he's always wanted.
Yeah, because that's what you base everything on, just amazing sex. This has been a trend throughout this entire show so far.
To be fair, he wasn't worried about not having met her because he had seen pictures, so I feel like that's enough for him.
Yeah. Yep. That should be just enough for anyone, really. They're getting married quickly. I was a little bit taken back by the one thing he said, but he said, of course, because they love each other. But then also he said it might make it easier to parole out of Texas. And we've heard this before from some other people, but we're not actually sure whether that's the truth or not. I'm thinking about last season with Lamar, that definitely was not the case.
It may have taken, you have to consider that all of this is in a short period of time that they record. So, getting married, I think that they have to have family in the state that they are trying to move to. And so a husband or wife would count as family.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm sure the rules are different for every state and even sometimes different territories within the state.
Probably, yeah.
Because there's different counties and such. Tracie said she's never been treated like a queen, and I believe her.
Yeah, I believe her too.
I really do. I mean, he's doing a pretty good job at not being. Yeah, he spent a little more money than I would have spent, but I don't think he's going outlandish. He's definitely nowhere near Scott level. So,
Scott just had the resources to be able to do that. I think if Clint had the resources to be able to do that, he probably would have done the same.
maybe not to the Scott level, but maybe more, he wanted to do more. Yeah.
She asks him if he has any worries about her, and he says no. He, but why? Why don't you have worries? If somebody asked
I
me, like, oh,
think
are
he
you worried
does.
about this? I'd probably be like, no, also, even if I did.
I think that he does. He's being recorded and this is for television, and they're right now they're all about, they want this to not look like they're making terrible decisions. So they're just saying whatever. They're gaslighting everyone right now. The whole
Right.
world. The world is watching. And their family and everything. And you don't know. I mean, in their minds they might be going, this is a terrible idea and I'm not so sure about this. But he's just fake crazy smiling all through this.
You think he's fake smiling?
I don't think so actually, but I feel like if I was like to sit here and like be fake happy and crazy excited, I'd probably look like Clint. Just saying.
She asks him for his credit card to buy her wedding dress, but then asks him like what her limit is. And he's like, "Oh, 500. Sir, you are already way over your $1,000 limit and here you are doing 500." And then she just stares at him until he's like, "Oh, but if you need more, go ahead and spend it." For what? Like you're getting married tomorrow in front of who?
Exactly. So she doesn't need, to me, you don't even need $500 because I mean, they had their first date in that crazy ass dress. I mean, and then you're gonna get married. I mean, just go get a 200, 100, $200 dress. You could find that literally anywhere and it would be just as pretty. My last wedding dress was $75. I mean, you can find it.
Oh yeah.
You're if you're It's different if you're getting married in an extravagant wedding where everyone's watching, but this is just kind of an elopement. I also thought that this was the reason why the episode was named Your Card Has Been Declined, but we find out later that that's not the case, but we don't know. We don't know yet.
Yeah, he's so worried about her having everything she wants that he also gives her his ATM card. So he's got the credit card, she has the credit card, and she has his ATM card.
That is a terrible idea. This woman went to jail and is a felon because of financial fraud. Terrible decision. He says he doesn't have a lot of money because he works basically at a hotel front desk as their like auditor. I think they're called auditors. So he doesn't make a lot. I mean, I know in this state, the maximum I have seen that job pay, and it's usually for overnights, is $17 an hour. Now, in New York State right now, the minimum wage is 15.50. So $17 an hour is not a cash windfall in any stretch of the imagination. And now that's just starting out or if you have no experience at all. But I even see if you have experience, it's like 18 or 19. So not a big chunk of money.
Right. He doesn't have a lot of money.
No. But his parents do.
His parents do. But
We're still not sure if that's actually his credit card or if it's his mom's.
just because his parents have money doesn't mean he has access to any of it. Although I kind of suspect that they bought his car for him.
Yeah.
Next up, Megan, Michael, and Sarah. He's been out for 2 days and he's only made one 5-minute phone call to Megan.
Yeah, she's angry. I guess she's Megan angry because we don't really see Megan get that angry. She's kind of just like, "Oh, he's the best thing in the world. I love him and I can only be so angry," type of angry. Delusional angry.
It's so frustrating to see him interact with Sarah knowing the things that he's said about her and that he's said about Megan and what he's done. I mean, that Megan's sitting there talking about him, and then Michael and Sarah are in bed kissing, and she
Yeah,
says, "Oh, also, we aren't using birth control."
I know. Yeah, they're in a hotel making out and they aren't taking any precautions. And she's basically saying, whatever happens, happens. Actually, word for word.
Right.
And we know what that means.
And Megan says she's worried, and if he does cheat, it's over. So we'll have to see if she holds to that or not. You would imagine at some point in time she's going to figure out that he's cheating with his wife.
Yeah, he said he's being faithful to Megan, which made me laugh, and that he had to have sex with Sarah to complete the mission.
That is such a weird thing to say. And what pisses me off about Michael is that he uses Aviana as an excuse. She's going to take Aviana from me. She's never going to let me see Aviana. My daughter, my daughter, my daughter. You don't care about your daughter. And I haven't seen anything from Sarah that indicates that she would take his daughter away from him. She wants him to be a part of her life. And I would venture a guess that even if they weren't together, she would still want him to be a part of Aviana's life.
But to be fair, for him to be scared is kind of I guess it makes a little bit of sense because she does actually have a if she did want to be vindictive and keep him away from or keep Aviana away from him, she does have a lot of ammo because he did just get out of prison and he spent a fair amount of his life in prison.
What does he think is going to happen what he's doing right now? If he's going to stay with her, you can't openly cheat on national or international television and think that nobody's going to find out. What he's saying doesn't make sense. Does he have a sincere concern? Sure, it could happen. But I haven't seen anything, and he keeps repeating that that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I basically what I think is happening here in my opinion is that he is fully planning on having a relationship with all three of them indefinitely and he wants them to accept it. And I think he is leaning towards telling Megan before Sarah. But you're right. I mean, eventually this is going to be aired, and you could only hold it from them for that long.
Right.
Basically, you're done then. You're done.
Next up, Caitlin and Matt, and at this point, he has been out for 4 days, and they're on their way to see her mom.
Yeah. And Matt said he's not worried because if Caitlin loves him, her mom will love him too. Okay. I mean, it's kind of the dumb thing I'd expect Matt to say. I don't I don't think he's like the brightest bulb in the bunch. I don't see much going on there. I'm not super impressed by him right now. I mean, he's doing okay so far. But yeah, I'm not seeing that he's this like I don't see yet what Caitlin is talking about.
And what she sees in him.
Yeah. I'm not seeing anything that's worth this. I just don't see it yet.
Well, we can say, I mean, they kept saying he hits that 8 hour mark and then he goes out using, and now he's been out for 4 days. He's still sober, so there's something to be said for that. I mean, that's 4 days clean at minimum.
Yeah, we hope that they just maybe didn't air it, but she says
Oh,
you don't think so?
if
Oh,
he
they would
was
have aired. Yeah,
using, they would.
yeah. Yeah. For what we've seen so far, they pretty much try to show as much as humanly possible,
Yeah.
even to disgust us all. So she says her relationship with her mom is strained and a lot of her childhood was taken away from her because her mom was a drug addict. And and then I'm thinking to myself, okay, so if most of your life was growing up with a drug addict and this was your life, why is this what you're now choosing again?
I wondered the same thing.
Where why are you what that life is like being on, the other side. And now I'm confident that I'm not right about Caitlin and that she is not a drug user and was not a drug user, because she has never pointed to any of that.
So I think that they do that because that's what they're comfortable with. They are familiar with the drug addict lifestyle, and so they go and find another drug addict because it feels familiar. And I doubt for the most part they recognize that it's the same thing that's drawing them to that person. They're just, oh, I'm attracted to this person's energy. And
True, true, true. He said he's a 10, or I'm sorry, a 12-time felon. I was
12
like,
times.
holy cow, man. Holy cow. That blows up your theory about that you thought that if you are a 4-time felon, then you get life or something like that. I remember you saying something like that.
Third strike, and I think it's only in specific states.
Okay. Okay. They're at a cafe and they're waiting for her mom, and they've been waiting 20 minutes so far, and they've just ordered coffee. They haven't ordered food yet because they're waiting for her mom. And Caitlin says that she's not surprised because she's just this what she expects from.
Right. And Matt, I thought Matt was pretty cool. He tells her he's got her back, whatever she wants to do, however she feels, he supports her.
Hmm. Yeah, I kind of feel like Matt, had he not had he lived an honest life, he probably would be a pretty decent person. Or, I feel like, especially because we see how great his mom is, and how supportive, even through all of what he's put her through, she's still supportive.
Right.
Mom finally shows up in her, why I wrote down 1989 Ford Taurus, because that's what it looked like to me. And she comes in, and I thought Mom said, "I failed you." Is that what I heard? I did it twice.
I don't think so.
What did she say? I found you?
I found you.
I found you with her arms open. And then Caitlin just blows through her and throws something in the cafe. And I was like, whoa.
That's her phone. She threw her phone.
Oh, her phone. I thought it was like a cup or something.
Like it fell apart. First of all, how old are you? What are you doing?
Mm,
You are in a public restaurant
yeah.
where other people are. What are you doing acting like this? I get that you're upset, but this reaction is way out of proportion.
And I thought to myself, if they weren't recording a TV show, which clearly everyone in there knows they are
Right.
because they got permission, that would be something that might get the cops called on you, you
It
know?
could.
Hmm.
Acting out of pocket in public.
Yeah.
Matt follows Caitlin out because she's out sitting on the curb, and her mom is just like standing there smiling. It was the weirdest look on her face. Like her mom seems oblivious. It's just like, oh, I don't know, man.
Yeah. It Caitlin says, I call her mother, but the only thing she did was give birth to me. Well, clearly Megan, or wow, Megan, shit. Sorry. Clearly Caitlin cares a little about her mom still and her relationship with her and what she thinks, because she did plan this. She did plan for her mom to come meet them there
That's a good point. So Matt hugs Caitlin, and he,
in a corner,
what's that?
in a corner of the building against the
Yeah,
wall.
outside, and her mom comes out, and they hug. So she's, I guess, instantly over. And I know that they cut time out and they cut scenes, so we didn't see everything, but it seems like her mom walks in the building and she's like, hey. And Caitlin gets up, throws her phone, storms out, starts crying. And then her mom's like, okay, goes outside, and Caitlin gives her a hug. Like, that's how this felt to me. And I'm like, what is going on with you guys? Like, all I want is for you people to pick a side on anything.
Yeah, I know. It's just weird.
And after all the crap that her mom gave her, kicking her out of the house and all of that, her mom says, oh, you guys look so cute together.
Oh my God. Yeah, I'm not thrilled with mom so far. We'll
Not
see though.
impressed. Mm-mm.
No.
Yeah. I think Caitlin has some. Maybe she said this that she has some major abandonment issues.
I need to see more of what Caitlyn is all about because, like I said last episode, we do know she also doesn't have any sort of job or any sort of income or any place to live. So I need to see what she's about because she's not looking real good herself here right now. So I'm interested. I'm trying not to like jump ahead and look at anything on the internet,
I
trying to not spoil it for myself.
know it's hard. I just want to race through these episodes to get to find out what
Mhm.
everybody's doing. Next, we are with Brittany and Marcelino, and she goes down to the pool and says, "Well, this is better than prison." I am shocked.
I was like, oh God, you think you think it's better than prison?
I gotta out of the gate. I gotta address this because she says not every ex felon is a criminal. What?
I don't have anything to say on that. I really don't. I don't know. No.
What?
I want to
Maybe
know what her definition of criminal is, I guess.
that's what I'm thinking. Like maybe I don't know. Maybe I needed to look it up, but I thought it had to do with crime.
Would we know?
And he tells us that the reason they're staying at the hotel is because where he lives, they don't accept felons. And I'm thinking, why would you tell them? Like,
Yeah, don't tell them.
just don't tell. It's not like you have to stay there, but why tell them?
But what's the plan? They can't live at a hotel. I want. What's the plan?
Yeah. Well,
They're not. This isn't Pretty Woman. I mean, what are we doing here?
she is looking for an apartment in the newspaper, and he comes and makes fun of her. He's like, "What are you doing?" The newspaper?
That makes sense to me because, well, yeah, I mean, we talked about Craigslist. Like, I mean, does anyone use Craigslist anymore to look for apartment? Well, does anyone use the newspaper to look for an apartment?
They must.
This would be like what 2019 at the point at this point. I don't know.
I'm not sure. We were so off on our dates.
Well, maybe she doesn't have access to a phone, a cell phone with a internet on it, or a computer or a laptop. She could go to the business center at the
That's
hotel.
true.
Though.
But she'd have to know what she was doing, and she may or may not.
Yeah, true.
It's not, and not like the life she's described is really favoring computer work and technology and things
Yeah,
like that. I mean, she's been out trying to survive since she was 12. I'm sure she's not super worried about Facebook and sending emails.
yeah.
So he's leaving for the day, and she's going to be in the hotel all by herself. Or is she? Her parole prohibits her from hanging out with any other ex felons. So we understand why Marcelino is concerned. She's doing stuff she's not allowed to be doing. She's not allowed to be around Sasha or Amanda.
I'm wondering how they would find out unless you have them at your house, because when you're at your house, your parole officer could just show up anytime they want to unannounced,
You could
but
get pulled
she
over
doesn't
in a
have a
car.
tracking. Yeah,
No,
she's at a hotel right now, so she's probably just kind of like, well, they don't know where I am. But she probably does have to tell them where she is though, right? So yeah, they could just show up.
I don't think everybody who comes out is on paper. I think some people serve their time out and then they're just released, and other people
Okay.
serve their time and then they're on probation, parole, whatever it is.
So but she must be if Marcelino keeps getting worried about it, right?
Possibly. Or it could just be that he's afraid they'll do a background check and see that she's a felon.
Yeah.
She invites, while Marcelino is gone, invites her ex, Amanda, over to swim with her. And I feel like even though she's saying it's an okay thing to do, she knows it's not an okay. It's a dishonest thing to do. Like
Yeah.
if it wasn't a problem and Marcelino wouldn't be mad about it, why wouldn't she just tell him? If you are hiding something, then what you're doing isn't right.
Yep, exactly. If you can't tell them what you're doing, then it's, I mean, in a nutshell, it's cheating. Really.
Right.
We know her history with this girl.
And Brittany says another Another thing that makes no sense in my brain. She says, it's not like she was keeping a secret. She's just not telling him. My friend, that is a secret.
It's the definition of of a secret.
Her and Amanda never actually broke up. From what I gathered, Amanda was transferred and they just never talked after that.
I know. Yeah. We'll see later on what comes out of this. She's lying to her too.
Exactly. It's not only that she's afraid to tell Marcelino, she's afraid to tell Amanda.
Yeah.
So, all kinds of stuff you shouldn't be doing.
She's doing double duty here. It's kind of like the Sarah, Michael, Megan thing. Kind of.
Kind of it is.
Not as serious, but it's similar.
I feel like Michael knows exactly what he's doing, and I don't know. Maybe it's because I like Brittany more than I like Michael, but it doesn't seem. It's totally dishonest. I'm not gonna make excuses for that. It just doesn't seem as bad as Michael.
She's got this hippie vibe to her. I said it before. She's got this like free spirit, free will. I'm no one can hold me down type of vibe. But that makes sense from someone who's lived on the streets for so long.
Right. You have to take care of yourself and only rely on yourself.
Hmm.
Next, we're back to Scott and Lizzie, and they are going on a date. He says it's his first date in 30 years.
She's disgusting me at this point. I had a really hard time with this whole thing. I'm so disgusted with her. I can't even stomach her anymore. She said she's going to order everything on the menu, and I'm not surprised at that at all. She said there's only bad food in prison. It's just full of carbs and artificial everything. Well, why do you deserve anything more than that? What is making you deserving of great food? You're in prison. You've done a crime. You're lucky they're freaking feeding you. I
Name one thing she has done that has been beneficial to Scott. She did give him a makeover where he looked better. However, let's cut that one thing out. Anything she's done for him emotionally to make him feel better, to make him more secure.
She's just being terrible to him. And it just gets worse. She's sitting there double fisting drinks, and I'm just like, what are you doing? She's saying things like oysters are an aphrodisiac. And then she's eating all this food, and it doesn't even look like he ordered anything for himself. She ordered like so much stuff, and seafood, especially things on shells, are is so expensive.
And she ordered way more than she could possibly eat. There's no way that she ate all of that food.
No, no. Oh, it's not super filling. She might have, but I feel like he probably ate what she didn't or something like that because he definitely didn't have any food in front of him.
She's doing all this and still says it could take 5 years before she would want to have sex with him.
Yeah, I thought she said 5 or 10 years. I don't remember what she said, but I was just like, oh man, she's such a disgusting human. I can't. I don't think anyone would disagree with me at this point, so I'm just gonna say what I want to say. She's sitting there telling Scott that he almost killed her by giving her money for drugs, and I just wanted to reach through the screen and smack her. I'm like, "How dare you?"
That's his fault. It's his fault that she.
Oh, I'm not surprised she said that at all. With the way that she's acting and the type of person she is, I am not surprised that she had the balls to say something like that. And he says to her, which I was glad he said this to her, look, if I hadn't done given you that money for those drugs, you would have gotten it another way.
And you
And
wouldn't
all
be
she could
sitting
say is
here.
that's true. Yeah, and you wouldn't be sitting here. She says, "No, you're right. I wouldn't be sitting here." And at this point, I'm like, "Walk away. Get up and walk away. Go. Why are you sitting there?"
Just cut your losses. Just because you invested a lot in something doesn't mean you should continue to invest.
No.
Time, money, no matter what it is. In a bad situation, cut your losses, walk away, restart.
Yeah. She says, "Do you feel like I used you?" You think? I mean, even he's not dumb enough to know you did to know you used him. He knows you used him. You're still using him.
She's so rude, telling him that Jasmine doesn't like him. That's not necessary, and he already knows that.
You can only feel so sorry for him that he's still sitting there taking this and putting up with it. And I'm just like,
He said it a couple times that he gave her the money because he couldn't stand to see her dope sick. But I think it's he couldn't stand to hear it because he didn't really go to visit her all that much. So it
no.
was her telling him how awful it was. And now she's blaming him for giving her the
Mhm.
money.
Yeah, when he visited her, she would cry, or basically she'd be super high and be like falling asleep on his shoulder.
Yeah.
Not surprisingly, the credit card that he gives them is declined. And she's like shocked by that. Oh, you don't have another card. And then he gives them another card and he's like, this one will be fine. And I feel like he gave them a bank card because it just felt like, and he said, oh, there should be enough money in there. You don't say that about a credit card. That's an account. And she said if he's lying about money, she's walking away.
So here's where this caught me. She did say that he had presented himself as having a lot of money.
Okay.
I have a problem with a relationship where one party claims to have money, then later gets upset when the other party wants to spend that money. If you don't have it, don't say you have it because you're going to attract the wrong kind of people, the people who are only using you for your money.
Yeah, he's definitely not innocent in any of this. He definitely is making mistakes and then also continues to make the mistakes. He is a full-grown adult with a child, an adult child. It's like, yeah, I mean, you can only feel so sorry for him, but yeah, he did represent himself as having money, and clearly it's all credit. It's all being just
Right.
loan and credit cards. I can't even imagine how much credit card this guy has. And I don't want to jump ahead here, but we do know that he's no longer with us, that Scott is deceased. I don't know why he died. I don't know how he died, but I know that I I I have to say I'm wondering if the stress of everything contributed to why he's dead, but I don't know that.
She said she needs honesty and truth, and my eyeballs rolled so far into the back of my head that I inspected my brain for several minutes.
I mean, well, okay, let's put it this way. She is face value. She is truthful. She just kind of tell it like it is. She is kind of just like, yeah, this is how it is. And I'm this, I'm that. And if you don't like it, whatever. So she is kind of like, but it's just like, I don't know if that's what you're going for. I don't know if you're in this relationship because you want an honest, loving relationship. You're in this clearly because you want to be spoiled by a man who has money.
And he doesn't. And like you
Mhm.
said, if that's what you're after and that's what you want, which is all you have shown us so far, is that you are out for money, for financial gain, for the benefit of yourself, then find somebody else. All of the men sending you money in prison, none of them have more money than Scott, who has none.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I have this sneaking suspicion that the other men that she's speaking of, that are sending her money or were sending her money or what have you, are men who already have another life.
Yeah,
Do you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
They're in another relationship, and this is just Lizzie is their side piece. These other men were never like, okay, I'm gonna get you out of when you get out of prison, we're gonna have this grandiose life together. I'm gonna say that Scott is the only one who's offered that.
Oh, I'm sure it was more like, I'll send you $20 for a titty shot or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't.
Yeah, yeah. Show me your feet. Um here's $5 for some chips from commissary.
That's what I
Yeah.
feel. Yeah, I mean, she was probably making quite a bit of money the way they made it sound, but that doesn't mean any of them were interested in having a relationship with her or supporting her after she got out.
No. Yeah. Definitely not. She needs to tell it like it is, honestly. She needs to tell. be honest about it and be like, yeah, none of these other guys were gonna want to be with me, marry me. These were just people giving me money for, like you said, titty shots.
Right. Next, we're back to Megan, Michael, and Sarah. And Sarah and Michael are driving from Flint, Michigan to see Aviana in New York, where Sarah lives. How do you think they met?
I don't know.
They're totally different states. How did you two meet? They're different people, different states.
I don't know. And even he's like, he keeps saying they're not good for each other. They don't really have a lot in like common. And I don't know. I don't know if she was like a one night stand. I don't know. I don't know. She's trying her best to like, she's still speaking Ebonics in and out. Like it's selective Ebonics. And I'm like, what are you doing? Doing?
Even if that was something that you just did occasionally, you would think being on TV, it would occur to you that maybe that would be a poor idea and not be received well by the general public. Because I'm just going to say that it seems really racist to me to jump
It
around.
is.
She only uses it in certain circumstances, and I don't know. Maybe I'm offended for no reason.
No, we know the circumstances she's using, and it is blatantly obvious what's going on here. She's in front of the camera, and she's like a suburban white girl, and then she's in front of Michael or his family, and all of a sudden she's like inner city. It's like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Michael doesn't even talk like that. Like I don't know why what she's doing. But they're driving and Sarah and Michael are holding hands. Why is he holding her hand if he doesn't like her?
He says he fears his daughter is going to run away from him when he sees his daughter. This is so confusing. And he sees her and she is scared of him and he says, "Hey, pretty girl, and don't you want to see daddy and don't you want to say hi?" And I mean, here's the thing, Michael. You said, "Oh, I raised her over the phone." Clearly you didn't, and we know this because she has no freaking clue who you are and she's so little.
She is very little. And she was born right before he went in. So she
Yeah.
has only visited him a few times. That's not going to register. It's probably traumatizing for her to go to the prison, in general.
I don't know if she could. I was thinking that. I don't know if she ever did or if she could. I know that they talked on the phone, but I don't think you can like maybe you can take a child to visit in prison. I don't know.
He said that she was born right before he went in and they only visited a few times. So I
Oh, okay.
assumed that she brought Aviana with her when she came to visit.
Baby though. Like a baby
Oh,
baby.
yeah, yeah. And they decided together to tell Aviana that daddy was at work.
For a really long time.
She's a toddler. That doesn't make any sense to me. She's probably like, what?
He's like, "What's work?"
Yeah, okay. Where's all that money from daddy working all the time?
Yeah. Michael's crying and he's like, My daughter doesn't know me. I'm like, you're
Shocking.
right.
Your daughter, who you've spent no time with, doesn't recognize you.
Yeah.
I'm
So
over
my
it.
Philo keeps giving me tampon ads. So in between for every single ad I had for advertisements, this episode, at least one ad was the same tampon commercial for each break.
That's nice. Do you really
Yeah.
know what type of tampons you would buy should you ever need one?
I feel like I felt targeted. Like it was like only women watch this show, so they must be interested in tampons, right?
I know that that's not true though, because I kind of just thought that the demographic for the show would be women.
Mhm.
And in the groups on Facebook, there are quite a few men on there, so a surprising amount. I'd like to hear from some men and see what it is specifically they like about the show.
Well, we have a surprise while we're talking about men coming up where we will be having a special episode where we will be giving you a man's perspective of an episode. So look forward to that.
It'll be very exciting. He's very funny.
We'll be announcing that soon. We may have two. We're not sure yet. So
Next up, Scott and Lizzie, and she's talking about cooking with a stinger or a coil that she used to boil water.
yeah, she said she would boil water. She'd be able to fry some shrimp fried rice. She said that if she were to go to the kitchen staff and give them a 20 sack of crystal meth, she got better food.
Right. If you want to eat healthy, you got to trade.
That must be Scott's fault too, right?
Yeah, she had the shrimp. She had the meth for the shrimp.
Yeah. Yeah. I frequently use meth to buy shrimp when at Aldi.
That'll be 3 bags of meth.
I don't have any cash. Do you take meth?
That's right. I got 3 rocks. I don't know. Brittany and
That's crack.
Marcelino. What do you call meth?
I, d- I think is oh no, I don't know what's what. I've never been a drug addict.
A meth rock. I don't know.
I'm not rock. Let us know in the Facebook group.
I would be like the worst narc. I'd be like, yeah, they were shooting up the marijuanas, and yeah, I'm a mess. So Amanda arrives, and Brittany tells her she looks so beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she really does. She really does look super interested in her. She's just eyeballing her up. She's like pulling her in. They're taking their tops off. She's pulling her in the pool. I'm like, whoa, man.
Yeah, it didn't take long for her to tell Amanda about Marcelino, which, I mean, we don't know what other questions or conversation took place that wasn't on the actual show, but I did have respect for the fact that Brittany did tell her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She didn't keep it a secret, although I don't know how you would keep it a secret. Where does Amanda think she's getting the money to stay at a
Just,
hotel?
yeah.
And where's Marcelino's stuff? Like, it's got to be in the room, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, she was just like, here's, all right, just everything out in the open. Here's what's going on here. And this girl's like, what? What happened here? Where did this come in? You're what?
And then she has like this realization out of nowhere. Oh, if Marcelino comes home, he might be angry about the fact that Amanda is here. And I was like, oh, you think? Like, for
Yeah.
several reasons. And he would be justified in that.
Yeah. And as of this point, what we know from Marcelino, I would be kind of scared. Be like scared. And Brittany's just like, yeah, come get in the pool with me, and then she's like they're swimming together and touching each other, and she picks her up, and I'm like, whoa, if he comes in right now, what are you gonna do? How are you explaining this?
Yeah, what are you going to say? It's so weird how she makes advances towards Amanda. Just the sexual tension is definitely there, at least on Brittany's part, possibly on Amanda's part, but I definitely felt it on Brittany's part. But then 5 minutes later, she's like, oh, and also, I'd like you to go wedding dress shopping with me. But says, oh,
I
we're not
know.
engaged, but I want you to go wedding. What is happening?
I know, and she had Amanda at one point thinking we not right at this moment, but that they were going to be together.
Right.
Brittany said that they were talking about being in a relationship, and she's saying she's still sexually attracted to Amanda. You don't say, you don't say. We can't tell. We couldn't tell at all. You're touching her at every second.
She says that she's considering asking Marcelino if she could be intimate with Amanda. I will say I do not think that Marcelino is going to think that's cool. And two, I do respect that she would ask him first if she were planning on doing that.
Yeah. And we not I assume society believes that all men would be interested in this, right?
Hmm.
That they would be interested in their significant other having or their girlfriend having a girlfriend, right? Not all men want that or interested in that because it's still an intrusion on their intimacy and with you.
Right.
So not all guys think this is cool.
Which is true.
And he's never expressed the want or need to be a thruffle at any point in time. He did say he knew she was into women. Not at any point in time did he say he was okay with it, or he condoned it, or he wanted it to continue.
Correct. So I don't see that being something that happens anytime in the near future. But
No.
the cast has surprised us in the past, so we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Next up, Megan, Michael, and Sarah. And he's watching Aviana while Sarah's at work, and she is painting his nails, which I thought was
Yeah,
super cute.
it was cute. Right now in 2025, a lot of men paint their nails, but I was thinking that I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. Maybe he'll just keep it on. But at that point in time, men weren't painting their nails. That's where my brain was going with it. So many men paint their nails now and but whatever. But yeah, she was doing a pretty good job too.
Yeah, she was. I really felt, and I said this before, but I made another note of it. He seems to be making up stories about Sarah keeping Aviana from him. He just keeps on with it. She won't let me see her. I'll lose my daughter.
We don't know what okay, as of right now, we don't know where this is coming from. Maybe this is stuff she has threatened or has said. We haven't heard it thus far, but maybe there's a reason behind it. I don't know if we're going to learn this.
Wouldn't you produce the receipts though? Like if Sarah really had threatened to take Aviana from him, wouldn't you at least say, she said she would take Aviana from me if I wasn't with her? Or she said she did, she text, wrote, any of those things. Like he never says that she said anything to lead him to believe this.
True. True. Yeah. And it's not and also we don't know of him having any other children or any other relationships where this has happened to him where he's just like, "Oh, it's gonna happen again." Or maybe, yeah, he's really not said anything. This is just his assumption for no good reason at this point.
And being the excellent father that he is, he decides he's gonna FaceTime Megan while he's watching Aviana.
So in the back of my mind, I thought, okay, we're not going to use this right now as a Jana lost folder moment and make it so that the Aviana walks away and gets lost while he's on the phone with
Oh
Megan
my
to do
god.
like I was like, "Oh, please don't," because we know that they're filming and there's people all around, and that if the kids started walking away, that no someone would notice, right?
Right.
And I was so thankful that that didn't happen. But yeah, I was like, "All right, that's not a great thing to do right now while she's like playing in like weeds and he's like FaceTiming Megan."
She's a 2 year old, 3 year old little girl. They need to be watched constantly. And
Yeah,
he's not used to being a parent.
but you know what? Common sense would tell you don't walk away from a small child in a public place.
Well, I don't know that he has a tremendous amount of common sense with the things that he does.
Yeah. He says he's busy spending time with his daughter and he doesn't have any time for Megan, but then he's FaceTiming her while he's at the park. He's scared to death of losing his daughter, and yet he calls Megan.
He tells Megan he's not allowed to have a phone. His PO said he's not allowed to have a phone. Where did he supposedly get the phone he's calling her on right then?
I know, and I have never heard that from anyone else's mouth. Why in the
No.
world would you not be able to have a phone? That makes no sense whatsoever.
But if you think about it, everything that he's been telling both of them, no matter how stupid it is, they both believe. So he's
Yeah.
probably floating on thinking he can say whatever he wants.
Oh, and Megan is like the most naive of the naive. She wins for that.
He says he's just sheltering Megan, and that's why he's doing what he's doing.
Ugh. She says we used to talk all the time, and now it's been like 2 or 3 days with no calls. Oh my god.
And if you remember,
Oh,
when he told her that Sarah was driving him back to New York, she said, I want to be on the phone with you the whole time. Clearly, he just didn't call her.
yeah.
He tells her he'll see her the following week, and then turns to the camera and says, Sarah's not the one for him.
Yeah,
Okay.
she's not the one for him. With Megan, he laughs and she's supportive. Right now, because with everyone else, before shit hits the fan, everything is all roses and ponies and rainbows, right?
Mm-hmm.
Until you move in together,
Yeah.
until it gets real.
We conclude this episode with Tracie and Clint is standing outside of the building they're supposed to get married in, and I believe it's like a bar, it looks like maybe, and she is 2 hours late.
I was trying my damnedest to figure out what that was. I'm like, is that a chapel? Is it is it a VFW hall? Is it what is it? Is it a biker club?
It could be a VFW hall. I didn't even think about that. I just thought it was a regular bar, but it
You
could
saw some
be.
like neon lights, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So yeah. But on the outside it looked like something else. It didn't look like a bar.
Yeah, I don't know.
It didn't look like a chapel.
It does look like a chapel.
No, it didn't. It didn't look like a chapel. Yeah.
Didn't to me either. He says he regrets not getting her a phone because then he would know where she was if she answered.
At this point, for me, I'd be like, holy crap, she's a felon, and I've just given her my bank card and my credit card. And I can't tell if he's worried about that.
He doesn't seem to be worried about that at all because he says he'll wait as long as it takes. Dude, if somebody was 2 hours late to marrying me, you don't even have to be 2 hours late. Like, you could be 20 minutes late, and I'll be like, well, it was a good run.
It would be different if they were like in the same vicinity, in the same like place, in the same hall, in the same biker bar, whatever. And she's just taking a long time to get ready, or she's making everyone wait for her while she waits for her custom made shoes to arrive. But no, that's not the case here. She's just off and who knows where with all his money. we
It's How's he going to eat? Like, he gave his credit card to her, he gave his bank card to her. How's he going to do anything?
get gas to go back. I don't know what he's gonna do. He's like saying, "Oh, a big fancy wedding is just not her style." But okay, but is she gonna show up for this?
For any style. Oh, it's a mess. I'm excited to see what happens next week. Who's your VIP for this week?
Oh, for sure, Michael for the painting of the nails and the color because
I thought that was super
I
cute.
yeah.
My VIP is a tie this week. It's for Megan and Clint for cumulatively missing 492 million red flags. So that's about it for this week's episode. If you enjoyed the podcast, head over to Apple or Spotify to rate and review. If you'd like to continue the conversation, join our group on Facebook at Love After Lockup, Locked Down. Listen every Wednesday wherever you find your podcasts and keep those notifications on to be the first to catch bonus episodes.
And in the meantime, don't fall in love.
And don't get locked up. First date at Walmart, keeping it low. Told the clerk, don't judge me, I'm on parole. I brought roses, okay, 1 rose from a gas station. She said, oh babe, now that's validation. We be vibing in a halfway suite. Microwave dinners, romance elite. She my ride or die, she brought me a phone. Even snuck it in once, pre-release song. She hold me down like a key-o with charm. Except she don't mace me or twist my arm. We write vows in Sharpie on my court docs. Judge said no contact, but we beat the clocks. Love after lockup, cuffed and proud. Matching jumpsuits, now we rockin' the crowd. She said, don't mess up, I said, bet. Now we're TikTok stars with no regrets. So here's the love and second chance thrill. From a concrete bed to Netflix and chill. They said, don't catch feelings, but I caught a case of butterflies, girl, not just in one place. Ankle monitor beep. Oops, curfew gotta bounce.